Hi, this is Nicholas Bell with IONCINEMA, here to review Beckett, the second film directed by Ferdinando Cito Filomarino, who is probably best known as the protege of Luca Guadagnino, who's also producing, along with Rodrigo Teixeira. Filomarino served as the second AD on such Guadagnino titles as the Suspiria remake, Call Me By Your Name, A Bigger Splash, etc. This premiered at the 2021 Locarno Film Festival, and Netflix is streaming it as of August 13th, 2021. So we have a very kind of interesting Stranger in a Strange Land espionage thriller vibe going on with an American couple vacationing in Greece, 4 or 5 hours outside of Athens as we orient with them. Beckett, played by John David Washington, and his girlfriend April, played by Alicia Vikander. They seem to be kind of a newly minted couple. They're, happily going along when a terrible car accident, when Beckett falls asleep at the wheel, causes them crashing into a house in the remote countryside. He wakes up, she's dead, and then all of a sudden, because of who he happened to see at the crash site, people involved in an ongoing political turmoil going on in Greece, he is suddenly chased down by corrupt cops and put up against corrupt diplomats at the U.S. Embassy, presumably to be assassinated because of some information he might know. Well, it sounds like a mixture of Andrew Davis's classic The Fugitive or Pakula's political thrillers from the 70s, particularly the Parallax View, even Ken Loach's Hidden Agenda. We find Filomarino and his screenwriter, Kevin A. Rice, trying to kind of do the opposite. Maybe almost like the titular name suggests, kind of in the vein of Beckett's Waiting for Godot, and this prolonged sense of waiting for something to happen. Initially, Vikander, who's only in the film for 15 minutes, which makes you want to go back and kind of take a closer look at her exchanges with John David Washington. And she has some curious things to say, like a monologue about them feeling like figures in a landscape. Washington's casting is this man trying to hide from the authorities in all these kind of ultra-white spaces, kind of furthers this idea, this notion that this is really about the landscape itself rather than it is the narrative, which feels like it has a lot of dead spaces. Even Washington's characterization, who seems to be doing this method thing that does kind of ends up having some laughable moments. He just seems to be a plot device more than a character. Some interesting people along the way includes the always likable Vicky Krieps, who is in several recent things like M. Night Shyamalan's Old, or Mia Hansen's Loves Bergman Island, also a short sequence. Boyd Holbrook shows up, it's the diplomat. Again, where casting kind of gives away any of the minor curious twist the film has going for it. As an art house exercise, Beckett feels like a kind of thing that will be appreciated years later, and is probably victim to how it's marketed as a thriller when it doesn't play that way at all. Sayambu Mukdeepram serves as the cinematographer, with some interesting things going on, especially, as I said, involving the landscape. Ryuichi Sakamoto is trying this jazzy, kind of almost new age score for the film, which also kind of tends to distract and makes this feel like an exercise in pretension when there could have been a way to allow this film to coalesce in more interesting ways. Obviously, some very real-life references to things going on in Greece, like the financial crisis from '09, and an ultra-far-right, ultra-nationalist group called Sunrise, which is obviously a reference to Golden Dawn, might make for more to parse through if you have the time. Otherwise, I would give Beckett 1 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.